Alright, so we have our local queries class, and we've got a local folder which has, so we've got a local folder here, and it corresponds to our queries over here. What we've got is we've actually got a query for invoice lines and invoices over here, and we have a corresponding data set called staging over here, and we've got invoice lines, and we need an invoices table to receive our data from our invoices query. So what we're going to do is, our invoice lines is a partition table and we're going to create an invoices table. Just refresh to make 100% sure. So in our staging dataset, we need an invoices table. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our create table class, and we're going to create an invoices table. And what we're going to do is just make sure we're on the right project. Okay, cool. And what we're going to do is just have a quick look, make sure this is doing the right thing. So this auto create method gets our schema from SQL Server and converts it to BigQuery. So if the invoices, I'm just going to get the create script. If the whatever data type we have per column, this will use a case statement and convert it to BigQuery schema. So bit to int, datetime to string, datetime2 to string, float to float, decimal to float, int to int, money to float, and varchar to string, varchar to string. And what it's doing is it's getting the schema from, it's running this query, passing in the table name as a parameter, and it's from getting the column name and data type from information schema.columns. So we get schema over here, connects to SQL Server using our connection, and gets our schema, adds it to a map, returns our map over here. We then iterate through the map, and we substitute the SQL data types for BigQuery data types, and we create a schema. So this is a BigQuery schema of these fields, and fields is a list of fields over here, and we're adding fields.add. Okay, and then we're getting our schema, we're returning that schema over here. Get schema, yeah, we're returning our schema over there, and then we're creating a partition table with the data set and table name and the schema. Okay, and yeah, we can do multiple tables, list of tables, and we create the partition table, and we're setting our project ID, we're passing in the schema, table of dataset table name, we're doing a day partitioning type. So yeah, that should all work fine. Let's run it. Alright, partition table invoices created successfully. So now if we go to our staging, let's just refresh to our staging dataset, we should have an invoices table. That looks like that. Great. So got all our columns and data types, BigQuery compatible data types. It's partitioned by day. There's no rows yet. Alright, so we have all of our tables existing. We have our source queries over here, and we've got a local directory path. So we got our string here, we're converting it to a path. If it doesn't exist, so it exists. If it doesn't exist, we've got to do something. And let's just at least say directory doesn't exist. Alright, so and then we can create it. In this case, we're going to just return exiting. Alright, so we then, if it does exist, we're going to iterate through our directory. So let's just have a look at what this looks like. So we're expecting to see raw and staging, which correspond there. So we've got queries, raw and staging. We've got nothing in raw and staging over there. So that's great. That works fine. Now what we want to do is we actually want to iterate each file, each query in our data set. So at the moment we're just getting the file name, which is effectively the folder name over here. Effectively what we want to do is we want to iterate through each one. So what we could do is create a new method accepting the file name and appending it to the local directory to build a new path that we're going to iterate through. So that's what we could, that's one way of doing it. So let's create a new method. Let's go public static void subfolders. So let's go iterate subfolders. Alright, and we're going to pass in the local directory and the string subfolder, like so. So when we go when we are iterating through our subfolders, then we are going to pass in the local directory and I see, so this is expecting a string and we are passing in a path. to us to file.getName. So let's confirm that it works. And subfolder is alright. So iterating through our subfolders. So what we're actually going to do is let's just run this. Okay, so we've got a subfolder which is working, got our local directory which is fine. So effectively what we want to do is concatenate local directory. So let's say string subfolder directory equals local directory plus subfolder. And then alright, so we should run that. Okay, so we want a backslash, not a inverted comma. We were just escaping. Here we go. D documents, VS Code, local data, extract queries. So we've got a new directory and we can convert that to a path. Call this subfolders. Subfolder equals subfolder parsed.get. So change that subfolder name and okay, we can then iterate through the contents of each of these. That'll be our next step.